Haha, 2000 elo, the sacred rating every chess player wants to reach, and I'm no different. However, you see, 2000 rating is reserved for only the most skilled, most talented, biggest brained Sigma male chess players, and I suck at chess. But hopefully throughout this new series, I can get better and share some awesome and funny moments. Enjoy. Unfortunately, this is not a live commentary. I played these games already, but we're gonna go through them one by one and just go over and analyze what we did. So we started this game, the first game, at 12:37. So it was a simple Sicilian, you know, got my knight out, he pinned my knight, I defended, pushed him away, he took, I took back, he pushed, I developed a knight, he took, I took, I allowed him to trade queens because I could take back with a rook, he got the bishop out, I just took the free pawn, he developed the rook, attacking my rook, I just took the knight, and I figured that when it's all said and done, I'm just up, you know, one pawn, and his pawn structure is absolutely terrible. Right, so I got the bishop out, or I put the pawn on e6 trying to get the bishop out. He checked me, I got a check, got the bishop out, brought the rook over, traded rooks, and the position is just completely winning for me. But was I able to convert? We're gonna have to figure that one out. So he put the bishop on e5, I attacked him, he goes back, I push my king up, you know, we trade off some pawns, trade off some more pawns, I check him, he goes back, I push, and as you can see, it's plus 3.3 for me, meaning that, oh, actually plus 4.0 for me, meaning this should be a win for me, but let's just keep going. I push c4, losing a lot of the advantage already. He goes here, I make another move that loses quite a bit of advantage, but still not terrible, right? He moves his king, I push, I'm not sure if this was the best move, but I did it regardless. He took, I took back, and he played king to f4. Now the right move for me to play here would have been, you know, bishop here, and if he takes, I just play here and get ready to play this, trade off the bishop and then push the pawns. But instead, I decided to play king d5, completely losing all the advantage. As you can see, the eval bar goes back to 0. He takes, I push, he goes back, I push. Now his bishop is completely like kind of out of the game. He goes back, which is a mistake because he should actually have gone here, you know, keeping the game even. But he goes all the way back, and now I'm winning again, +7, right? I should easily win this. I push my king, he gets his king back to try, you know, defend this pawn. I get the bishop in the diagonal that he needs to go in. He moves his king again because he's kind of boxed out right now. And I put the bishop on d2, moves his king, I move it back, we just shuffle a bit, and I make a big mistake, equalizing the game again. What I should have done here was to go bishop here, and then eventually play this, and then pawn promotion is absolutely unstoppable, right? Instead, I move my king. Stupid me, I guess. And yeah, we ended up trading off, and the game ended in a draw. So because it was a draw, obviously we gained no elo from that, and we are still, and at that point we were still at 12:37. So game number 2, you know, e4, d5, the Caro Khan, I guess, or he took, I attacked, he checked, I blocked, I just took his queen. I don't know why, that probably wasn't the best move. I should have probably just developed. He took back, I brought the knight out, he brought the knight to, you know, b4, trying to get this check. I just defended with the bishop while developing. He attacked the bishop, I just castled. Probably not the best move, but I couldn't see anything better at the time. He took, I took, and now he's up a pawn, but I trade off the knights, and I get my knight on b5, trying to, you know, get a fork. He sees that, and I try to get my bishop into the game. He pushes, and I just bring my knight back, trades, and now my pawn structure is actually better than it was before. So I get the bishop behind the pawn, he gets the bishop out, I get the rook on the open file, and I attack the pawn on here while simultaneously attacking the bishop. He has to obviously move the bishop, and I get the free pawn. He pushes, I, you know, go behind the pawn and get the other pawn rather than trading the rooks. You know, he pushes, I don't take, I push, he gets the rook on the file. I defend the bishop. I think I take that free pawn, yeah. And then I start pushing my pawn because I have a pretty strong advantage. Here I just push the pawn because he doesn't really have an attack here because he can't take this because of the bishop. So he moved the bishop. I just lose all the advantage here because I think he can play this. And it's double defended, but he didn't see that, luckily. Some may call that luck, some may call that skill. And I can just, he moves, I can take the bishop, he checks, it's not the end of the world, I just have to evade. And I thought that this was checkmate, but I realized that there was nothing here. So eventually, I just defended, the bishop here, can't take. And eventually I promoted and I won. He abandoned. So that put us up to 1245. And then game number 3 happened. So e4, e5, knight f3, knight f6. I don't know why I put it back. Then I pinned, or I attacked his bishop. I don't know why I didn't pin the knight to the king. I attacked the knight, brought the other knight out, being ahead with the bishop, pushed the pawn, or no, he pushed the pawn. I get the knight in the center, trying to, get him to take, and then I take back, and the bishop's in a strong position, attacking b7. He doesn't do that, takes, but he eventually does it, yeah. I didn't remember that. Takes. I trade the bishops off, and I just put my bishop in a strong position. Probably gonna play, like something like c4 and just solidify this bishop in the center. He pushes the knight. He pushed the bishop out. I just take. He takes with the rook. I attack his rook. He defends. I just trade, and he attacks this pawn. I just push to defend it. He brings the knight in. I have to kind of work my way, try not to get forked by this knight. I attack the knight. He has to go back. I have to go back. He pushes the pawn. I push the pawn again. He doesn't take. He moves his queen. I take. He takes back. I put the queen in the center. The rook comes over. Rook comes up. And here he makes a crucial mistake, thinking that he can take this and I can't take back because of the pin. And he's right about that. But he forgot that my queen was on d1. And I just took the knight. Took the rook, and I should be just completely winning, right? He, attacks my rook. I move the rook. I move the knight. No, he attacks the rook. I move the rook, and here he attacks my queen, right? And obviously, I move my queen. No, I lose my queen. I get checked. I can't even take the knight back. He takes the rook, and the game is just over. I have to resign because I lost, and that put us down to 1237. Unfortunately. So now game number 4, just I don't know what this is. I honestly couldn't tell you. And then I'm just gonna skip really fast ahead of this one because game 5 is what I really want to get to, because game 5 is really the interesting, where the interesting stuff happens. Here I just take the pawn. He takes my pawn here. I don't take because I don't need to. He pushes the rook over. I can just take the pawn. He pushes. I just get a check. It looks like I just lost the rook, right? And I did. He takes, but then I know that I just took this pawn back. And I was able to, he took back with the king. I was able to get a clean fork, winning the rook. He attacks. I just move the rook. He can't play this because it defends. And, the game just, he checks me a bunch, and here he checks me, and I obviously can't move back to the c file because then he gets a skewer. So I have to attack his rook and his knight. He moves over. I take his pawn here. He checks me. I just attack his knight, and here he moves his knight back to be defended by his king. And here I actually play a good move. I check him, making his king have to move, and I'm able to get the knight and just push some pawns, check him. He blunders his rook, and he doesn't resign, and I get a awesome checkmate. Now, game number 5 is an absolutely crazy game. I don't remember if I had said that in the intro, but it is. So e4, e6. pawn d4, he pushes that, I push that, boom, 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 takes. I take with the knight, you know, trying to get the queen in and get a checkmate or something like that, some quick goofy checkmate. He brings the knight out, you know, stopping any of that queen shenanigans. I put the bishop out anyway, trying to, you know, take, and then if he takes back with like the pawn or something, I have this check and I can win. He doesn't allow that, he kind of defends it. I take anyways, he takes back with the bishop and I give a check. I give a check knowing that he can't push here because then I would take, and he can't take back because then I get the rook. So he just moves his king, and here I'm able to give a check, right? And honestly, in this position, I kind of thought I was like just absolutely like walking him, but the position is 0-0. How does that make any sense? So he goes over. I just, you know, defend the knight because this pawn is gonna take this, and if I take back, or if this bishop takes, I can take with check because this pawn's still here. He moves his rook over to attack. I give him a check. He takes, and I just get my queen out of danger. He takes the knight. I take back with the queen, probably trying to get some ideas here or something like this. He brings the knight to attacking the queen. I give a check because he has to attend to this check before he can take the queen because the king's more important, obviously. He moves back. I take the pawn here. He takes my pawn, and I'm trying to, you know, checkmate him on this side. He checks me. I get out of check, and he's able to sack the knight to prevent any, you know, of my queen side pawn pushes. I take back, and in this position, I'm up 4.9, and I honestly don't think I saw the right move. Oh, I did. I played pawn check. He moves out of the way, and I move my knight, which isn't a terrible move. It still maintains our other advantage. He takes back, and then I just start to absolutely butt out. I play rook c1. He just moves out to the way, and I like kind of try and skewer him, but it doesn't work because obviously like the queen defends the rook. And at any given position, at any given moment, he can move this rook and check my king, and I check him, right? And he can obviously just, you know, do this. The position's dead equal if he just, you know, blocks with this, but he doesn't see that, and I get mate in one. I love 1200 chess, and that put us up to 1253. So pretty solid like wins here. What, 3 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. So the climb is definitely happening, but not in the best way. We can't be giving up queens like that and like losing all of our advantage like this, and definitely not drawing winning positions like this. But overall, pretty solid game, pretty solid checkmates overall, and yep, catch you in the next one.